Hello everyone and welcome to episode 5, finally, of the series. So last episode we made our skewer and now we're basically just going to finish off all of Subject Zero's abilities because the next ones are really not that bad to code. But there's a couple things I want to do before that, so let's just start. First of all, I want to make it so when a hitbox actually occurs and properly collides, then you will be able to the ability will stop. So then the green hitbox would be the last hitbox. So inside of /attack we're gonna have self.hasHit. And this is gonna be our counter for oh, has it hit yet? It should be quite an easy fix. Yeah. Or self.hasHit. So if it has hit, then it's just gonna finish. And then that also means in our has hit over here, we can do self.hasHit equals true. Now what should happen is that upon a green hitbox, the hitboxes should stop. Yep. There we go. Again, you don't have to have it like this, but I kind of just prefer it that way. I think it just looks a lot cleaner. But again, if you're having a piercing attack or something that can go through multiple enemies, then this may be not a good idea. That was very easy. And now I think it would be a good idea to actually start on the 2 new modules we're going to have. So we're going to have a reveal, where we're going to do all our reveal logic, so killers can locate hiding victims. And then we're going to have a sound service module, which is basically just going to be lots of functions that are going to help us play sounds a bit more realistically. So we can start off by doing sound. So we're actually going to add a new folder, services. And inside we're going to have sound service. I know technically this is already a thing, but it's not very useful. So sound service. Actually, I probably shouldn't delete that. Okay, so I'm going to add a couple different functions. You don't really have to add all of them if you don't want to, but I am just going to go through them all. There we go. So these are the functions I'm going to have. Play and play from part will be different because this play from part will be when it's parented, I guess. And player position will be if you want something to play at a certain coordinate, but there's no part there. Let's just start off with a regular play. Actually, no, we're going to want a couple more than that, aren't we? Let's just do sound parent settings. What? So first of all, we're just going to do our checks to make sure that, the things being passed in are actually correct. And just to make sure there's always a table, we can do that. So if you don't have any settings, then it'll just be blank. go. So that's all our settings. So if we want to customize literally anything, we can put it into our settings table, and then it will be edited here. So for example, if our sound is going to be different than the original one we're going to clone, that made 0 sense. Then right at the end we're going to return the sound instance if there is one. That way you can use it to do whatever you want. Actually we don't really need this, do we? Because that's just going to be regular play. We're kind of just going to need the same thing, but we'll also need position this time. Okay, that can be our sound for now. If we need to edit anything, we can edit it later. Yeah, let's do reveal next. Let's just get all of the let's get all of that out of the way. So in our combat, we're going to have a reveal. And now reveal is actually going to be partly client-sided and partly server-sided. Okay, that should be reveal done. Okay, we'll just do E and R now. That's a function we're going to do in a minute, which is going to let you change speeds without using like status effects. And then this is just going to be the multiplier stats. This is how long the scream's going to last for, or how long the slowness. That's how much stamina you'll gain. This is the animation we're going to put in our animation config in subject 0. And then this is going to be a remote, which we're going to use to manually update the client's stamina count for the boost, for the like stamina boost. And that's kind of what all of these constants are, which we haven't actually implemented yet. Actually, while I'm here, I've got a couple of sounds I want to add, because we're going to be doing that later this episode. So if we do in assets, just add a folder called sound, or in fact sounds, because there's going to be multiple. So that folder I'm going to do killer, and in there subject 0. And in here you can just basically put any kind of sounds you're going to use at all. These are all the ones I have so far. They should all be public, so hopefully you'll be able to see them as well. And that's just going to be necessary because we're going to actually use the sound service to play a, I don't know, scream sound, I guess, for his ability, which we're going to do now. Okay, that should be fine. Now obviously there's a couple things we need to do. Firstly, we're going to move on to speed multipliers to slow things down. For example, subject 0 while screaming. With our new version, we're not going to use set movement locked. We just won't need that. So instead we're just going to have update walk speed. And set. Okay, so let's start off with name and multiplier. And in character.new, we're going to have a new table, self.speed multipliers. So having it as a table is going to allow us to add multiple. So for example, if you had a speed effect, but you're also slowed down from screaming, then it's not going to break and override one or the other. So it's just nice and future-proofed. So this function is going to be, if you wanted to know what multiplier character's at, then you'll be able to tell using this function. Currently you're going to want to find wherever you have set movement locked, so just use Control-Shift-F and then search set movement locked, and wherever you have it, if you have, let's say, set movement locked true, here I'm going to change this to add speed multiplier, or set speed multiplier, skewer lock 0. So that's going to multiply everything by 0, and that's gonna mean that you basically can't move. And then here we're gonna remove speed multiplier skewer lock, and then remove it everywhere else where it says set move locked false. There we go. So as you can see, if you hold it, I can't move, but I can still move afterwards, even with our new system in place. Now, Scream should be mostly done, but there's going to be a few loose ends we're going to need to tie up before anything's going to work. First of all, we're going to need to address our very, very hard-coded ability script, because, yeah, it's not amazing right now. So here, we're just going to get rid of skewer key, honestly. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a keybinds table, which is going to make it easier if we want to add custom keybinds in the future. Okay, and yeah, the issues arise here. These functions here are not great. So what we're going to do is we're going to go local slot, check if it exists, if it doesn't then ignore, and here press ability slot, and here we're going to do the same thing, but it's going to be release ability slot. And then we can just copy that bit of logic. Okay, and then we go into our subject 0 config, first of all we're going to need to add our scream animation. That's mine now. And then also our reveal color. For subject 0 I'm just going to do white. That kind of makes sense. And then in abilities we're going to need E to be scream. That way it will actually bind to the screamer module. Fire client. Okay, so I can now in our sprint client, I'm going to add stamina update. Now what we can do, stamina update on client event. As you can see now, if we're running around and then we run out of stamina, then we start to regenerate, and then boom, we regenerate a lot, and then now we're back to running. And then as you can see, if we were to use it while running, we are slowed down a lot as we're using it, and you basically lose all the stamina you just gained. So you still got to use it like fairly wisely, even if it is pretty OP, but we'll balance it in a different video. However, one issue you might see is that when we use Scream, this appears, as in the charge bar, and we don't really want the charge bar to appear when we're not charging anything. I think that's an easy fix in the UI controller. Just remove those two lines. There we go. Now it doesn't show, but the functionality still works. See, my animation is absolutely terrible, but I can't really do any better. Okay. So first of all, what we're going to do is we're going to go to config, add in our hunt animation, I've got that. Then what we're going to want to do in abilities, add in our R ability, hunt. And this is going to be our detection ability, where we're going to make use of the reveal logic we've made. So let's start off as usual just by creating the ability. Honestly, actually, let's clone Scream, rename it to Hunt. Just do Control F, replace them all with Hunt. We'll do Hunt runtime in a second. That's going to be R. That's probably something that needs to be improved upon. But that's probably enough refactors for today already. Hunt runtime. the way the hunt's going to work is pretty similar to Scream. It's going to slow you down for 1.5 seconds, and then you'll be able to see survivors for, let's say, 4 seconds. So I've got 2 sounds here. I will play them just to demonstrate. Mask off is just the sound of the mask being taken off. And then reveal is like a global sound. So then the reason reveal is going to be global is so everyone knows that, you know, if they've been revealed, and then that's going to be just for the realism of the actual ability. This is going to, after 0.7 seconds, it's going to make the mask go invisible, which is the amount of time it takes in my animation for him to grab the mask off his face. Make sure this is 4, my bad. Or however long your duration is going to be. Okay, so when I press R, I should play an animation, take off the mask, and then these guys should all be highlighted. Yep, there we go, I can see them all, even through my body, and then they get turned off. Okay, nice. Of course, we can make the highlighting smooth later. Yeah, and then the mask comes back. Okay, nice. That's the Subject Zero's kit done. Obviously, we've still got a bit of work to do to him. But yeah, no, that's really good. So we've done lots of progress. And we're not ending here because it's been so long, I kind of need to make a larger video. It's been a long time since episode 4 now, because I've been away, and it's probably going to be a while to episode 6 as well, because you know, September soon. Okay, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and add sound effects to my slashes and to skewer, just to make them sound, you know, a bit better. So here I've got my slash. By the way, I got all these sounds from Toolbox, so I didn't actually make any of them. So that's just regular slash. Stab, which is going to be like the impact, is quite literally a stab. Scream. I'm sure that one was quite obvious considering, you know, Subject Zero. Stun is another. I think that's Subject Zero, but it sounds like him anyway. This is going to be the punch part of his skewer ability. Then we got, and they're going to be, I guess, kill sounds. Mask off, just him taking a mask off. Impale is going to be like the mini spikes, and then they're going to, you know, play a lot. And then charge is going to be when he charges up his skewer ability. I don't think it will go all the way to the end, but that's fine. So yep, I am going to now go add these. I'll time-lapse it just in case anyone's following along and wants to know roughly where to put each of the abilities, or each of the sounds, sorry. Okay, so yeah, I've just added sounds to my skewer, and to scream, and to M1, and to R. So my M1 now sounds like this. And then yeah, hitting someone, you get the, you know, attack effect. And then Q. There we go. Anyway, then scream as normal. Once I run down to low, I can regenerate. And then run. That's cool. And then we've got R, which shows all the dead bodies. And then my mask goes back and I can't see them again. So basically all I've done is I've just got two, there's dust here, which is straight up just like a PNG going outwards. I'll just show all the details if you want them. And then the size is literally just increasing however much you want. And then the rings, again, is just going forward and it's increasing a bit just to make it look like it's going outwards. And that is literally all there is to this. And then I'm going to turn it off. And then I'm going to put this inside of our killer model, which is in assets, characters, killer, subject 0, head, scream. There we go. So then inside of scream, I'm literally just going to add like 4 lines of code. Scream runtime. So self.character.model .head.scream.rings enabled is true. Same thing with the dust. And when we're destroying as well, these will turn back to false. And that should quite literally be it for scream. Okay. And then if we do E, I should scream. There we go. It's simple, but it's cool. It adds a bit, I guess. I mean, yeah, again, adding VFX really is not hard if you want to. It's literally just adding the attachments in and then making them enabled and disabled and so on. So yeah, very easy. Honestly, I think next episode we just need to do our execution animation. So like once they hit 0, right now what happens when they hit 0 is just going that they like just basically fall apart like a Lego brick, and that's it. But I think it would be cooler if it would play like a special animation which is gonna kill him, kind of like in Forsaken, because that is basically what I'm basing a lot of the start of this tutorial off of, because it's a very basic asym that works very well. So yep, I guess I will see you in episode 6, which again might be a while away. I can't guarantee anything because there's a lot of work to be doing, but I'll let you know how it goes. And if you want any help, please join the Discord. I don't know how many times I have to say that in the comments. If you need help, I can't help you in YouTube comments, just join the Discord. There's a help channel for it, and there's also people dedicated there who are going to help you, hopefully. If not, I will help you. But yeah, I think that's it. If you're enjoying this series, please do subscribe. I am trying to get monetized because that would just be so cool. And yeah, I'll see you in episode 6.